qualifying round. The qualifying match is the first one today. Hopefully we'll get a couple more for you. But this is a best of 3 to determine which of these 2 players will compete in WCS Season 2, 2015. Spawning on the southern location of Van Nuys Research Station. Playing for Neurosoft, it's the blue Protoss, Nightend.
Let's opposition. As the red Zerg, it's Acer's Nerchio.
So once again, kind of going back on the point that Nerchio is this really good player just straight up. He lost to Protoss just 2 days ago, Gung Fu Banda. There's some pretty abusive plays from what I recall. But that aside, he's still someone I think I put my faith in for this one. Nightend, on the other hand, while he's certainly got an interesting history through, I think even didn't he play Warcraft as well? I mean, like, he's been around for a while. He's been a pro gamer. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a very long time. And even then, still today, he can throw down with Koreans on his best day, and he barely keeps up with the ladder on his worst. I mean, he's here in the quarterfinals, like you said. Obviously, something's going right for him today. I just really hope he doesn't go either on tilt or flop versus Nerchio, because he's going to need every single mental facility, running on full to take on Nerchio.
Usually I'd be totally on board. I'd say that Nerchio is the favorite and whatnot, but it's just, if Nightend's playing well, evidenced by him getting to this quarterfinal, and we got to remember Nerchio is at least playing well, getting to the quarterfinal again. The last time Nerchio was in the quarterfinal, he got tilted hard by a cheesy Protoss.
Yes.
A cheesy Protoss who didn't actually cheese every single time, did he? They won in like a macro game, right?
No, Gung Fu Banda is just kind of a... It was other reasons, if you recall, that Nerchio was not...
Well, okay, yes. Well, we'll not get into that one. But the point is that he can tilt. He can have a good day and get to the quarterfinals, and I guess it is technically where all the pressure is, And once you're at the quarterfinals, like, nothing else mattered. Not the 4 series you played before. Those are just whatever. It's just about now. Like, I'm almost there. I can almost touch it. It's Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail.
Taste it. Taste the rainbow. I guess quickly to touch on this, we probably won't see Swarmhost come out in the series, but some folks were really confused after that last game, like why the Flying Locusts were here instead of Legacy the Void. If you guys missed it, seriously, there were some patch notes in 3. Well, there was basically a change for each race. The Tempests were adjusted for Protoss. The Swarmhost change was put live here in Heart of the Swarm. And you're right, it's going to be played on Heart of the Swarm for WCS Season 2, but with these live changes. And, of course, the Terran had the Point Defense Drone tinkered with.
So, it might seem unfair, but you guys are basically like Slowpoke right now. Everyone has talked about this on a lot of talk shows, and whether it's fair to the players or if it's good enough for the game that they're trying big changes. And a lot of people compare StarCraft 2 sometimes to like Dota and League of Legends, where Dota had a significant change, a huge change that was live during tournament season. Because when is there an off tournament season?
No, there's always something going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But these changes were announced a long time ago. It's not like the players never knew they were coming. They even put out test maps and map mods so you could try them out. It is kind of, I would say, for anyone who's not ready for this change, it is, in my opinion, the fault of the players. It should have been practiced on a little bit, but it does kind of suck when you have moments like what happened at GSL where they assured them, oh, it'll be the old version, just kidding, bait and switch.
Yeah, what a...
But for WCS, everyone knew this was going to be the case. They announced this forever ago.
Yeah, there's a big difference between not knowing at all and not being able to use them correctly yet, because that's going to take a long time, and it's going to require a couple of people that are just bold enough and good enough to do it. So I know you're hoping Snoot's going to be able to show us something.
I think him and Cats are the two I really look forward to see new utilization of the Swarmhouse. But chat, quick to point out, yeah, serious hype, guys. There's like 20,000 people watching between the various streams, French, German, English, you name it. So it's a good day for StarCraft here. And of course, it's the Monday of the week, so I guess everyone's just kind of in the office, slumped over, saying, I don't really want to work. I'll watch some StarCraft instead. You guys are the real heroes.
You guys just lounging about at work. True American heroes.
It's the Homer Simpsons of the world. Just like nuclear plant, reclined in the chair, like who cares?
Put his foot up on like the go button, causes nuclear war.
Ugh. Well, nuclear war, what? It's not like I meant like a nuclear power plant, not like a nuclear warhead facility.
Oh.
Like, what?
Well, okay, but still, you can go on the go button. I guess that causes their reactor meltdown.
Oh dear.
It's going somewhere.
Well, Roachborn coming out of Nerchio. Not a ton of queens, not a ton of creep spread, or anything too crazy going down just yet. But not that he's seen anything that's, really just indicating he needs it. Still 2 bases out on Nightend. He's got the Overlords around still, so he can duck in a scout. Linn's trying to make sure that third doesn't come down too soon. And I mean, this Overlord here is gonna be the one that comes in and sees 7 gates if they go down.
Well, just a lot of sentries being warped in to try and secure that third. Nerchio not setting up to do anything drastic. You know, we just saw Stefano twice try and do this kind of ling all in on the third and hope to end the game after killing the third. But Nerchio just continuing to drone, gets Roach upgrades, gets a lair. I am interested to see what he's going to do. It's going to just be Roach, Hydra, Viper, which is definitely the most standard thing that you can do, in my opinion, or actually trying to use Mutas, which can be fun.
Well, I really want to just address something as I come up in chat. Maybe it'll be too late because of that stream delay, but we got Hiwu asking about donating for show matches and stuff. And a quick side note is, like, we're totally on board to do that. We still do that on a regular basis. Just two things. One is April's very busy, so if you want anything soon, save your money. Do better used elsewhere. Secondly, if you do donate, make sure to just put a note on what you want, who you are, and all these things so we can get in contact with you later.
Okay. Oh, we do have Burrow on the way. Oh, but not sick. Okay, Dane. Maybe Infestation Pit was habits, as he does cancel it and throw on a Hydralist end.
Roach Hydra still pretty strong. I thought the Infestation Pit, to be honest, was going to be on purpose to see whether there's Vipers, that Hive Tech, maybe even the Ultras really quick, but...
Yeah, I think later he'll get the Infestation Pit once the Hydras first.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's the question of whether he plays the mid-game with the Hydras or not. And I guess it is getting to that point where, as a Zerg player, you can't just keep droning. You do eventually have to have, of course, army units on the field, and enough that you don't get walked over by a bunch of force fields.
Well, Nerchio is at a pretty comfy supply or drone count right now at 68. He has his upgrades lining up, also bothering to get Ling speed. I think it's always a useful upgrade if you're in a comfy economy anyways. We've got Roach Hydra coming out. No Infestation Pit yet, so he might do an attack before going into the Hive. If he waits for the Hive, that's just going to be like a bigger, badder army, but could give Nightend time to, you know, change his build accordingly. You know, for instance, if he sees that it's a fast Hive, you don't go for Colossus, you go for Immortals and High Templar, this, that, and the other. But do his attack first, adding a lot of pressure to Nightend, and hopefully Nightend will forget to scout.
Oh, nice burrow. Maybe not scouting, but he can't see it either way. The Observer's coming in a second's time, but it does buy Nerchio all of this extra time. Heals up a lot of the Roaches. He's eventually going to realize, of course, that there are Observers out, but man, that did the job. It kept what should have been 12 dead Roaches alive easily. Picks off a gateway, which isn't that dangerous, let's be honest, but he does bait out even more force fields out of his opponent, who, let's be honest, Nightend doesn't have a lot of sentries for this army. He's going really heavy on the Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, but that is a, it can be scary, you know, a couple of more warp-ins of 7 gateways at a time, and sorry, I was distracted. Apparently the Muslim did lose. No. Which is just so sad. I'm not expecting to lose to Elfie, but oh well. But anyways, if he warps in a lot more Stalkers, then, you know, this continuous reinforcement of Roach Hydra, and that's it. I mean, you take one bad engagement, and suddenly the counterattack is pretty fast, pretty strong. There goes the Infestation Pit, as well as a 4th base at the gold, like that.
Let's see if he gets away with it, of course. Right now, there's a lot of emphasis over here, and if he loses to this army, that actually could just pretty much be game. The thing about the Blink Stalkers is they will be able to retain themselves for a very long time. The downside, though, is Nightend's not playing in an area where he can blink back for very long. He's already back in the corner. But it's a very defensive corner. There's a Photon Overcharge. There's a couple of cannons here as well.
Does he have enough of a force to deal with this? I mean, the worst thing about Van Eye is that once they're past that choke, you know, with the plateau, then there really isn't a choke after that, you know, and it's just depending on a maybe good SimCity and lucky force fields, but it's just such a wide concave. It's going to be always intimidating for Nightend to move into that, to move out of his base until he has a lot more units. Not going up to Colossus or High Templar might be a mistake if he stays on it for too long, because we do have the Hive on the way. I think Vipers will definitely do well against an army that's choked in up against a wall.
26 Hydras, 21 Roaches. It's a pretty good army to have, but those force fields will cut that army number down quite a bit. For Nerchio, I almost wish we'd have like 2 Roaches just even over here on the left side picking away at like the Assimilator or something. It's just a lot of posing, a lot of huffing and puffing and making your chest look big.
Well, Nerchio does back off, loses a couple of misrallied Overlords that will supply block him. Oopsie.
Yeah. That's going to sting a little bit. $10 donation from Gnome John, by the way, says, from a Homer Simpson of the world, go not working!
Well, we finally have the Templar Archives on the way. Definitely like that choice of trying to get to Colossus. He's got to realize Roach Hydra, Viper eventually. It's always just what you're gonna call. Oh no, what was this?
That was like the camouflage stalkers. Just hoping they didn't. Day 13, they didn't notice, but nope. Nerchio turns around on that, claims some free kills. Really nicely done. simply replaced with another warp in. But of course, for Nightend, it is a little question of like having a small bank behind this. You know, he's not going to be playing the Remax game versus Nerchio anytime soon, but you know, you still want to have about 1,000 minerals, I say, as a Protoss player to know whether you can just get a line of Zealots or more Stalkers or invest that into even the Robo or something else.
He gets 3 more gateways, already on 9. It's just compensating for the future here. I would expected that to gone into a 4th base, but maybe still too scared to take it. Storm not done. Archon's not going to be in the field until he knows he can take care of the Vipers.
Well, I guess, kind of looks like some lips over there, by the way. He hugged around the circle thing on the minimap, but Storm is going to go a long way. I mean, I guess you don't really want to risk going Colossus. It's just so easy to get Abducts off or Corruptors. There's just so many ways you can kill them as a Zerg player, but the Storms are a little bit harder to manage, not to mention the the feedbacks will double over really nicely for dealing with some of these Infestors.
Yeah. You know, Nerchio only got 1 Viper. I think he kind of, you know, we had a couple of bluffs called, I guess. You know, Nightend won't go into Colossus because he knows Viper's on the way. Well, Nerchio won't go into too many Vipers because he knows feedbacks will be there and he doesn't want to, you know, just lose the Vipers to that. You know, just to a little bit of micro here and there. He does instead have, like, the gold base, another base off the left as well. So he's going to go for a Greater Spire and an Ultros Cavern. Looks like he's going to go for Broodlords first. His 8 Corruptors are already on the way. His upgrades are also looking pretty fantastic. Matching that of Nightend soon.
Yeah, I really like that oversupply trick. You know, we didn't see him actually do it, but you build cancel a bunch of buildings so you can get a couple more units squeezed out. But I think one of the biggest things for Nerchio is, like, I'm looking at the resources lost, and he never took a bad engagement. He never got baited in. You know, even when he had a supply lead, he never dedicated to it because he would have lost units through force fields. He would have had his army thinned out and sliced apart. But because of this, not only does he have a massive bank, and it's straight up 4,000 minerals plus, but he's also got all of this army still alive. He doesn't have to remake any of it.
Oh, Queen, please kill that Wolfism.
Well, the Corruptors or the Hydras will, for sure.
Okay.
But that's the thing, the Corruptors aren't even really Corruptors, right? They're going to be those Broodlords once the Greater Spire completes. And, well, there's not a lot of upgrades on the Broodlings or even the attack damage of the actual Corruptors / Broodlords themselves. It's just going to be one of those volume things where Nerchio's just got so much to deal with. I mean, Nightend, a couple of storms here, maybe a blink over there, but can he actually deal with a Roach Hydra army that's completely maxed out with Infestor support and Broodlords on top of it?
It's going to be difficult. No. He's going to have very lucky positioning, you know, just the Broodlords off the left, the army off to the right, and good blinks, but it's not easy. And of course, even if he did go up to Tempest, which is the usual response, Tempest have been nerfed. Part of the change, along with Zerg and Terran. Yeah,
I think we were talking about this. We haven't actually seen it in action. I think it's about probably 5 shots now. That'll take a Broodlord down instead of 3. The Tempest change, for those who don't know, is the bonus damage to versus Massive was nerfed to only plus 14, not like plus 30 or 50 or whatever it was before. But Roaches managed to sneak through, get to the main. They're gonna pick off some of the pylons, gonna try and stop these gateways from being used to warp in. At this point, it's not really about killing the Nexus or getting any big tech with this, but it is about just doing damage with units, because Nerchio has been sitting very passive for a very long time.
They both really have, and just, as nothing's really happened, it is hard to call the game. Usually Nerchio with a bigger bank seems to be commanding the game, but Nightend could easily get a couple of good warp-in harass, or, you know, good blinks, and things could change.
No, I definitely think Nerchio, like, okay, it's passive and it's slow and blah, 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 but I definitely think he's still the one in command. He wanted to give away those Roaches so he could make more supply, so he could get more Ultras. Oh my god, he's going to have Ultras, Broodlords, Corruptors, Hydras, Roaches, Infestors, Vipers, and maybe some Queens. Have I left any units out? A couple of Zerglings, maybe.
Did you say Ultras?
Yeah, I started with that.
Oh, okay then.
I'm just saying, like, Nerchio actually has everything. Not everything he needs, he has everything.
Well, the Broodlords are going to be the biggest problem, again, unless you can get lucky. Fighting out in a concave area is definitely going to be helpful, as opposed to, you know, if they could hover over that plateau, that'd be a lot more difficult. This is quite a lot of units, but can they deal with everything? The feedbacks have to be good. That could be the start of a good engagement.
Well, I think it'll be Blinding Clouds over Abducts, so the feedbacks might not get a chance. But let's say he blinks into this, right? Oh, there's the Fungal Growth on top of the Templar! Storm's gonna go down a couple of feedbacks, but the Ultras and the Broodlings are just gonna eat these up. Oh, he needed that area of effect damage so badly for these Hydras. Warp Prism goes down. Now he's got to retreat. He can't even drop Force Fields because the Ultra, being the massive unit it is, will just crush them. So retreating in a full terror. Nightend falls back with a huge Blink Stalker army. Wishing he had Immortals, wishing he had Tempest. I don't know what he's going to get, but right now it's looking like wrecked.
Yes, it does.
That's a lot of cannons. And Blinding Cloud's going to, oh god, render them inert.
That fight was the only thing that could prove Nightend could stand in this game, and that did not go well. So maybe he killed a base. That's fine. That's great. But he's still on Nerchio is still on a gold base, and he just does not have an army to combat this.
He's looking to the Tempest, but it's too late. It's too slow. The Broodlords are already pushing. The Stalkers really want to get in here. I guarantee you he wants to more than anything else blink underneath this army. But the Hydras will make sure that doesn't happen. We got a Warping on the right side of the map while this goes down, but it's not about this for Nerchio. He's not going to lose a base race to 7 or 8 Zealots. No, his whole army is already putting the pressure on Nightend.
If he had High Templars warped in the back and ready to go with Storm, that could go such a long way.
Storms, feedbacks, really just anything, everything you can get his hands on. But it's Tempests that are coming out, and again, guys, you need so many more Tempests to actually one-shot, so to speak, a Broodlord down.
Militia Corps wasn't going to help out much. Time Warp, I guess, could have changed things.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Army coming into the effect. Blinding Cloud blinks immediately out of there. A couple of Fungals go down. I guess just kind of queued up. Didn't really work. He's out of energy on the Infestors for the most part. Maybe a Fungal in a few seconds. Nope, the Zealots shredded apart, but... Man, oh man, these Hydras, as long as they don't get too far away from the Broodlords, as long as they sit under the Broodlords, that's all they need to do.
Storms could be so good here. Storms just, they melt Hydras.
Storm, for those who don't know, is exactly the amount of damage that Hydras have in health. Fun fact. Third base looks like it dies to these Zealots, and I said he wouldn't die to this many Zealots, but I guess without reinforcements coming out so soon, it took the Ultras a long time to get out. He'll shut this down, but he's got a fourth base. He's got a Macro Hatchery coming down next to it. Nerchio's got the drone count to still transfer over, and there's just no stopping this. Nightend has completely holed up in the main. Tempest, let's see, what damage is that per shot? 44! 44 is going to be a lot of damage, yes, but not enough, I fear.
But it is the range, you know? They're both down to their, original mining bases. They're basically not mining much at all as the gold base does go down again.
True enough.
Could the Tempest do something? Could they, they find the nice nooks that they can't be reached without Corruptors or Vipers and this will be him. I feel like it's definitely going to go in Nerchio's favor, but Nightend may be able to pull the miracle comeback.
I'm thinking about, like, right now, just seeing like the hatchery come down even over here or whatever. I immediately think back to that game of Happy, where Nerchio just kited him around the map for the whole duration of Secret Spring. Like, the same thing might end up coming down here in a worst case scenario, but I just feel like between the two of these guys, Nerchio has so much more experience in actual base trade scenarios, so I'm really not feeling too bad for his position right now, not just based off of supply or tech or composition, it's just his experience at this stage of the game.
I was a little worried that Nightend made the mistake of making every single High Templar into an Archon, but still has about half of them ready to go with feedbacks or storms. I mean, really, Archons can be good, but maybe I think the craziness of storms might work out better. Like having 8 storms opposed to 4 Archons that may or may not be targeted down. It's hard decisions here for Nightend, who is out of money but not out of gas. So I guess High Templars are the one thing he can afford.
I feel like so much of this has just been snowballing down since those Templar died. We are finally seeing more Templar in play though, so hopefully these ones get protected a little bit better. But Nightend doesn't have any money, and even if he did, even if he had 4 or 5 bases, his drone or his probe count, pardon me, is just not where it needs to be. This gives Nerchio time to get +3 melee upgrades. There's a couple of Archons in this, but really, without the Immortal count, it's the Ultras that are going to win this time around, not the Broodlords. And even then, it's still going to be the Broodlords.
I just, all of that gas in High Templars and all with Storm, I think he could do something. He could take out the army. Maybe. If Nerchio just foolishly ran in, not really paying attention, but not quite with as many storms as he would like, I'm guessing. He's up to about 8, though, as the High Templars that are left over are gaining up to full energy, and the feedbacks are going to have to go well here.
I just feel like even if Nerchio just contained and this was a really boring 10-minute passive play, Knight eventually mines out of the base and still never trades out evenly. But the Envision goes down. There's the Abdox, picks off the Tempest immediately with those Corruptors. Blinding Cloud's on the ground as well. The Tempest no longer in play. There's one available. Storms on top of the Hydras. Oh, destroy the Hydras. That 1 health regen from the Zerg regen, a little OP. Ultra's getting choked in here pretty badly, but those Broodlords have nothing to stop them.
He can play forward. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's using too many. The Broodlings are starting to attack those Stalkers, and there are lots of Broodlords left over. He does blink forward, but if he lost
too late. It's too late. Everything's going down. GG. Good job, even.
Didn't work out.
I mean, that wasn't a polite good job, we all know, but still, good job for Nerchio. Game number 1 goes to him. Whew.